Hey guys, this is Kane315, and I'm back at it with another video for you guys. And this is another Danmachi Season 3, the last time I'll be saying it, really. Season 3 episode review for you guys. And what a good episode today. What a good episode. And what a nice little ending there to end what I thought was a pretty good season from Danmachi. Now, some people say this season of Danmachi was okay, but they're only saying that because, oh, this season didn't have so many fights as opposed to the last two seasons, because this season really wanted to focus on the story. And I really appreciate the fact that, hey, they wanted to focus on the story as opposed to the fighting. And then when they got to the main parts of the story where fighting was involved, then they got to the fighting. But, you know, some people are obviously saying, this season wasn't that good, or this season was okay because there wasn't much fighting. Listen, guys, not every freaking anime has to have fighting in it to keep it alive. Sometimes you're gonna have to tell a story, and 9 out of 10 times, fighting doesn't really tell a story. You just get a nice fight with nice animation, which is what we got here, you know, in this week's episode, and the season finale to season 3. So we'll talk about that. I'll also talk about the potential or the possibilities of Danmachi potentially getting a season 4 down the road. It is made by JC Staff. Like I said, I'll talk more about that at the end of the video. But anyways, let's get into talking about this season finale. Now, where we last took off last week, essentially Hermes came up to the Xenos members and like, why don't you guys just frickin' die already? So I guess you can say my prediction was right in the aspect of Hermes didn't do it because he hates the monsters. He kind of just did it so Bell could be proclaimed as a hero again, because we know that's Hermes' thing. He wants Bell to be this overseen, over-exerted, overpraised hero. And that's just Hermes' like straight up personality. He just wants to see him be a hero, because we've been seeing this side of Hermes since the very first season. Now, we see Asterius start walking, and when we see Freya's little bodyguard dude essentially say that the person you're looking for is beyond ahead and stuff like that. So that's where that is. And we find out, and we even further confirm that, we find out that Asterius is the Minotaur that fought Bell way back in season 1. And when Bell killed him the first time and beat him, he was essentially he reincarnated as this version of a Xenos member talking as a talking Minotaur, which is a freaking, I wouldn't say coincidence, but pretty nice callback. So yeah. Now Hermes goes on and says there's another way for the Xenos members to escape, and the reason why he said, why don't you guys just die, is essentially comes with a plan with saying, listen, Bell essentially is being ostracized and he's being hidden amongst the citizens of Arario. And especially after this incident, and even what the Loki Familia sees, he's definitely gonna freaking be so buddy with so many people. So, in other words, I need 3 or 4 of you monsters to come to the outside realm, the outside world, and start attacking the citizens. And then my plan is Bell will come down and he'll defeat you guys, and he'll have to kill you so he can freaking get, you know, his status back and be proclaimed as the hero who saved Arario from the dangerous monsters that started attacking. And that's his plan and stuff like that. Now, my goodness. Now, Lid is like, I don't know about this and stuff like that. But then that's when Gross actually is like, fine, I'll go through the plan. You know, we're doing this. He's helped us so much, and it's time we kind of help him. And Gross is actually cool with that. And he's willing to die and stuff like that. Although it's to the dismay of Lid and stuff like that, you know, he manages to go do that and stuff like that. Now, Gross eventually, and this whole, you know, revelation and story thing you're finding out is essentially because of well, no, hold on. you're hearing all this information, this background information, as Gross and the other monsters attacking the village. Now, Belle sees this, and eventually, what happens is Gross looks at Ina, and Ina has the little bracelet she had. And the thing is, we find out that Hermes gave Gross the stone, and essentially Gross will react to it when he sees what it is. And then that's when, he goes for Ina, and Belle comes in the way and essentially blocks, Gross from attacking Ina. And essentially they kind of have a little back and forth brawl. Belle's wondering, like, why is he doing this? Why is he, being controlled and stuff like that? Now, in the meantime, you just have Hermes essentially like in the same, high atop building, Icolos was at, and just watching from below, essentially saying, "Go on, Belle Cornell, be the famous hero you need to be. Execute my plan," and stuff like that. Now, it cuts over to Fels and Gross and the others, and essentially it's like, I don't know if this is the right thing. I don't want to leave my others behind, but Fels essentially says, "Listen, Belle will eventually, or I believe that Belle will eventually surpass the will of the gods." Now, what happens next after this is Asterius actually shows up, and he gets in the way and he starts fighting Belle and stuff like that. Now, the thing is, that was a great cover away for Gross and the other monsters to kind of escape and run away. Hestia eventually has them. Hestia eventually has them, and they eventually take him to Knossos, so they're all safe and stuff like that. And, they cut over to Hermes, because he's just shocked about it, this outcome that the Minotaur is actually attacking Belle, and he's like, "This is how not my plan was supposed to go." And even Osiphi's telling him, like, "Yeah, listen, Hestia more than likely already took the other monsters to Knossos, and, your plan is essentially done," and stuff like that. But Hermes is like, "Yeah, it sucks, but this is still regardless of, it's still a pretty decent plan enough." And yeah, so you have this amazing fight between Belle and Asterius. And, mid-fight, you have Asterius essentially tell Belle, like, "Listen, I had a dream that I was fighting a lone human, and you're that human, so will you give me my match?" And you just have Belle and Asterius going at each other. Like, this fight was really freaking good. You have the point where in the fight you have the crowd eventually, like, cheering Belle on and saying, "Come on, little rookie, you can do it, little rookie." And you can see that they now have the confidence back in Belle to do this and stuff like that. Now, who we later find out to believe, because you see some Loki Familia members trying to look like they might get involved, but the reason why they're not getting involved is because another Familia is kind of preventing them from doing that, and that's Freya's Familia. And essentially, we kind of find out that essentially Freya kind of piggybacked off Hermes' little plans, and essentially kind of a little bit about the main mastermind by setting up Asterius to fight Belle, because we know she has a thing for Belle and she wants to take Belle away for her own self. And again, like I said, it's always good to see Freya, because my God, she is a snack. And man, again, I love me some Hestia, but the thing is what I do for Freya, please, and thank you. Anyways, we find out that Freya is kind of the main thing. She kind of piggybacked to what Hermes' plan was, and essentially all the other, main Freya Familia members are getting in the way of Loki Familia members. And that's why the Loki Familia isn't doing nothing, because if that's the case, then the Freya Familia will get involved and start fighting them. And obviously, the Loki Familia is not as strong as the Freya Familia. Now, the fight continues between Belle and Asterius, and you just see them, just duking it out, and they get close to the dungeon area, the tower where the dungeon's being held. Belle gets this awesome sword, and, it comes to a point where, this fight is just freaking honestly at an evil standstill. And in the meantime, you have Belle monologuing with herself, "I want to win. I want to do this to get stronger. I need to win," and stuff like that, which is the whole aspect of Belle's whole thing here. And eventually it comes to the point where it looks like Belle has got the upper hand. It looks like he's going to seal the deal and win this and finish off Asterius, but Asterius kind of turns it around, counters what Belle was doing, and then slams him into the ground, into the really, somewhat of the stairway of the dungeon, the entranceway to the dungeon at the stairways, the bottom of the stairways, and smashes him. And essentially after that, Asterius gets up and is like, well, this time I win and you lose. The next time we go up against each other, that will be our final duel, essentially, from what I got of it, and we'll settle this once and for all, and stuff like that. And you have Belle after this saying, like he's saying in a glad way that he's kind of happy he lost, but at the same time he starts getting very emotional and very emotional, and he starts crying because at the same time he did lose, and he's like, why am I happy that I freaking lost? I freaking lost. And you have him getting really emotional because he wants to get stronger so he can protect the ones he loves and stuff like that. And obviously you see Aina see this in the background and stuff like that. So you see the episode ends off with things essentially back to normal. The monsters are back in Knossos, and I guess for the time being, we don't know if we'll ever see them again. If we do get more seasons of Danmachi, I envision they might pop up every now and then, but probably not. Lid does tell Bells that Asterius kind of walked on his own to the lower levels of the dungeon to train and get stronger. He's also got his arm back, and it seems like he's healed completely. So that's, I guess, something to look forward to. We cut over to the, Hestia Familia. There's a new article that says essentially, the little rookie barely survives against the monster. And they just put it in the headlines, and everything's essentially back to normal. Like, the status quo for the Hestia Familia isn't as shaky as it was a few episodes ago. Things are essentially like back to normal as if the season started off and the Xenos monsters were never involved and stuff like that. And then that kind of is it. And then we get a nice little end scene to the season with Belle at the one bridge where he and Ice first trained at earlier, I believe, in season 1. And then Ice shows up and she's like, I figured you'd be here and stuff like that. And that's when Belle asks Ice, could we train again? Could you train together with me again so I could get stronger and stuff like that, so I can protect the ones that I love? And in a way, she kind of is like, fine. In a way, she's kind of like, Ice is like, even after everything that's happened, not only a few hours ago, but essentially what happened between us, how our relationship stands and stuff like that. And essentially she kind of gives a way of like, yeah, sure, fine, I guess I'll do it. Now, I thought it's like she would do something where I guess she would express a way that she likes Belle or something like that, but that didn't happen. She's still the straight-faced girl. But it seems like her and Belle are definitely going to start training again. And then that's where this season ends off. And yeah, I thought this season was a really good season. I enjoyed it. I do like elements of some stories sometimes. Like I said, this little arc here in this season really took me back to One Piece and the Fishman Island arc when it came back to, the race aspect of should, this race live in coexistence with the more dominant race. And again, it's one of those type of storylines that dives a lot into, a racism aspect. And it really intrigued me there. And, obviously, maybe not one day, maybe in this storyline, maybe, one day, maybe the monsters and humans can coexist. It's obviously going to have to be a huge change because, and even like Hermes said in this episode, he's like, it doesn't matter how long, it doesn't matter if you want to try to have it happen. It's never going to happen more than likely because for years and decades over time, humans and monsters have been fighting each other and stuff like that. So, yeah, but it was a good season. I really enjoyed the fact that Danmachi as opposed to worrying about fights, they wanted to focus on one centralized storyline this entire season. And even though some people didn't like the fact that they did that, I thought the season wasn't as good as the last 2 seasons. And, and stuff like that because, we want more fights. Listen, you still got your fights here. We're not all the fights used with the giant cast of characters because they didn't go into the dungeon as much as the next person. Who knows? So, yeah, I thought the season was good. Another thing I also got to bring up, apparently there was a lot of people that did not like the fact that Bell lost to Asterius. Listen, guys. Bell losing to Asterius is only just going to make his development much more better going forward. Like, you can't have... Like, listen. Your main character isn't going to win every single fight. And if you really thought, Bell's going to win, he's going to win the last fight of the season. No, listen. Asterius got his revenge for Bell defeating him back in season 1. And we're probably going to get the grudge match, sometime later down the road if, like I said, they continue to make more seasons of Danmachi if it gets that representation and stuff like that. So you can't say like, I'm so pissed off and this season sucks because Bell lost at the end. Listen, Bell still won, beat dicks and stuff like that. And, I really do like Bell as a character. He's a really dynamic character and stuff like that. So, yeah. Now, I gave my thoughts on season 3. The Xenos Guild members, I thought all of them were likable in their own ways. I did like Ween a lot. She was a very nice character who, you really did feel bad, and it's one of those, the last few animes of little girl characters where it's like, you must protect, who, like My Hero Academia season 4 must protect Eri, here must protect Ween and stuff like that. So yeah. Now I'm not going to spend much topic on it, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the potential, the possibilities of JC Staff coming out with a season 4 of Danmachi, because the ending here in season 3, it kind of like, it ends in a way it's like, you want to see what might happen next in terms of Bell's progression and his development as an adventurer to get stronger and stuff like that. But at the same time, it has one of those nice endings where it's like, if you wanted to end the anime version of Danmachi, you could just end it right there and say, if you want to see the continuation of the storyline, you have to go read the light novel to see what happens next. And honestly, it kind of gave me that kind of feel. The ending here kind of gave me that kind of feel where it's like, yeah, if the anime if we're not going to see no more seasons of the Danmachi anime, then we're going to give you this type of conclusion, this type of ending, where it's like, yeah, there's more things to look forward to see Bell's progression as a character and as an adventurer go on, to see if he will get stronger and stuff like that. But you're going to have to read the light novels, and it kind of gave me that, and it sucks, but I'm crossing my fingers that if this show gets a lot of publicity and the show gets a lot of love, and the merchandise essentially is doing good in terms of DVD sales and, figurines and all that stuff, it needs to have a greenlit for a season 4, then, who knows what happened. But again, like I said, this is from the studio JC Staff, who does like the Index series, the Railgun series. And we all know eventually, maybe down the road, when the material comes, Index and Railgun and Accelerator will get their, seasons, their extended seasons. And I'm not saying like it's a done deal. Like, definitely do not say, season 4 is going to be confirmed. But I do think we will get a season 4 of Danmachi, because it is a very liked series. I think a very liked series in Japan and here in the US, in the West. I do think it's beloved. A lot of people do like it. Others for various reasons. But I enjoy it, and I would like to see a season 4 to see where this story goes on and stuff like that. Because it's like we still don't know what Freya's whole deal is and stuff like that. And I think they do have the material to do a season 4. Now, I don't know how long it took to make season 2 and season 3. I'll have to look that up when season 2 came out, and then as opposed to season 3 that came out here in 2020. But hopefully, maybe we don't have to wait long for a season 4. Maybe a year from now, or maybe in 2022, we can get season 4. Like, 2021, you can announce that Danmachi is going to come out with a season 4. And then next year, then in 2022, you can have, season 4. Like I said, I don't know if there's going to be a season 4. The way it ended, it seemed like, well, you don't really need a season 4, but I would appreciate to get a season 4 for this. They didn't give like no post-credit scene where it's like, oh, yeah, come back. We're going to be back with season 4. So we're just going to find out to see what JC staff does in terms of if they want to do a season 4. Like I said, I think it might get a season 4 because it's a series that's very much like, it's got its own video game, for crying out loud. So obviously, I think a lot of people are going to want to see more of this series. And plus it entices people who don't really want to read the light novels and stuff like that. But hey, we'll just have to find out what happens next. But anyways, like I said, this was a good season. So I'm going to get out of here. So if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this season, your chances of season 4 potentially happening, and your thoughts on this episode. Hit that subscribe button to get more, well, I wouldn't say Danmachi content because that's kind of it. Hit the subscribe button to get more anime reviews, especially for this upcoming winter, because I'm going to be making sure I not review everything, but some of the more animes that have intrigued my eyes and stuff like that. So look forward to that. And hit that notification button if you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you don't miss any updates to whatever I upload to the channel. Anyways, guys, thank you for checking out my videos for this season of Danmachi. It was my first full season episode review of Danmachi. I have done a season 1 review of Danmachi. I have to get to doing a season 2 review of Danmachi, but here I don't really need to make a season 3 because week to week you can just rewatch these episode reviews and get my thoughts on them and stuff like that. But like I said, I thought it was a good season. I enjoyed it and I had fun, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a season 4 for Danmachi. Anyways, guys, this is it. So till the next time Danmachi comes back, or if it comes back, I'll see you guys then. Till then, guys, have a great rest of your day. Peace.